Remember when the Turks were great? Yeah, we're getting to that today. I'm tired, so we're heading in right now. So the Ottoman Empire was big, spanning 3 continents, and it wasn't colonial. The beginning of the end of the Ottoman Empire was in 1683, most people say, because that's when most of Europe jumped the Ottomans. But what if they didn't get jumped? What if the Polish never pulled up to Vienna? First off, the amount of Ottomans besieging Vienna was 100,000 plus, so the Austrians would fall. Next thing that could happen is that the HRE and a lot of Europe is after them. I forgot to mention that in the real-life timeline, France was also throwing hands with the HRE during their own war, so France and the Ottomans made a semi-alliance during that time. Either way, the siege of Vienna ending in an Austrian defeat may either cause Austria to surrender or Austria to fall. For the sake of this video not being 20 seconds long, I'm going with both and explaining each. First, for the surrendering one, because of this, the HRE and Austria would scramble to sign a peace treaty with the Ottomans, and this is how it may go. First off, which is the obvious one, the Ottomans gain a lot more land, and Austria pays reparations. I think another thing that could happen is that Austria loses Vienna or Austria becomes a puppet state. Because it happened before to Hungary when it was annexed, I think in the long run, the Ottomans would still fall and decline at some point, but probably would have survived a few more decades more in our timeline. If the Austrians didn't fall and do not sign a peace treaty, the Ottomans would probably keep going farther into Austrian and Habsburg lands, turning every church into a mosque. The Ottomans would go on the offensive. Obviously, due to this, the Holy League would be formed either way, but the Ottomans already captured Vienna and captured some extra Habsburg lands. I think first the Holy Roman Empire, the Spain, Italy, Poland, Lithuania, and Russia would all try to jump the Ottoman Empire. But because of the defeat at Vienna, France would likely join on the side of the Ottomans because Louis XIV, that's all I have to say. I don't actually know what Britain would do since they were not involved in the real timeline against the Turks, but they were still ops with France and fought against them in the 9 Years' War. But there is a chance England might interfere with the Great Turkish War. Also, the Grand Alliance was France's ops during the 9 Years' War, which was also during the Great Turkish War, and coincidentally had some of the Holy League because the Ottomans and Louis XIV hated the Habsburgs in the real timeline and ours. But in our timeline, instead of the Ottomans getting steamrolled, they actually hang on, and instead of not having great tactics, they have decent tactics. I think in the long run, the Ottomans would survive a lot longer in this scenario instead of the other one because they gained a lot of power. But you tell me. Subscribe for alt history or regular history, you tell me, since I'm not a usual alt history guy, and I'm slightly terrible at this. Completely unrelated, but Charlie Kirk's death was so random because it was just a random day and boom, he got shot in the neck and died. I don't like him, heck, I even hated him, but didn't deserve that death at all. And also, they found the guy who killed him faster than Luigi Mangione. Damn, they're quick when it comes to political guys. Also, there was a school shooting that day. A few days before that, a Ukrainian refugee was murdered. Nepal had a revolution or something. France's protest. Israel attacked Qatar. What is the world right now?